All right, this is your host Shane with Mountain Crypto. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the price and see if we are ready for an up market or if we're going to continue this downward trend. I've got a few little tidbits on the price of Bitcoin and what's going on right now. We have been experiencing a little bit of a boom. Maybe some of this news about supposedly we're pulling out of Iran is helping. So, again, this is not financial advice, but this is what the charts show. This is where we're at. So, the last video I talked about me DCing in, dollar cost averaging in. As long as we were below that 200 moving week average. And so I did do that. But now we are kind of going up above it. Does that mean we're in a bull market? Well, not quite, but we are headed in possibly that direction. So one thing I want to show you first is take a look at tradingview.com here. And what they do is they look at the indicators here, and you can see that they are showing the oscillators are neutral, which it is a list of indicators such as the relative strength, the stochastic, I never can say that right, different average directional indexes, oscillators, percentage range, bull power, and such. And then over here, these moving averages. I like to look at the moving averages actually indicating a sell. So what that means is, according to this chart and what they're looking at, all these different moving averages here, you've got some sells, you've got some neutrals, and you've got some buys, okay? Right on over there at these price levels over here, okay? So we end up having a lot more sells over here on the far right. My head might be in the way of that just a tiny bit, but you should be able to see that. See all those cells. All right? So that is what one indication, all these indicators together combined are pointing toward, is that maybe this is a up and we're getting ready for a bounce down. One more bounce down. Again, we talked about these moving day averages. You've got the 200-day moving average right here. And then when they cross, you're in a typically in a really that was a down market, and it crossed again. And then when it crossed again, you can see we stayed in this up market. So whenever this 200-day moving average is way up here and the 50-day moving average is down here, that is showing the projection is upward. So once you get above this 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average, you start getting above those. You touch that, that's that golden cross, right? So there's this death cross. Sometimes it comes a little later. But you can see after that happened, we took a really big dip right there. And that was a huge buying trough right in here. If you look at my little arrow, you can see that it was spectacular, right? And then another cross, and wow, we're going up. We're going up. So yeah, you might want to buy like right at this beginning part right here when the price is going sideways. That's another time when people will dollar cost average, because it's like, oh wow, we're in a bull. So the two best times to buy is when you're in a total bear with after this death cross in here where you're getting these all-time lows, because you'd be hitting all these all-time lows here. And then when you first start to go into a bull, assuming and hoping that it's going to go up, okay? And then it will go up, 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 and then you got your death cross down. You're where you were before, but look at where we're at now. We had this little cross where we're starting to look a little bit bullish. Now, that has to be confirmed, not just in the daily, but weekly, and you can still have another retest. You can have retests on that for a while before you really get a strong bull market indicator. So I would say, at that chart that we just saw is a weak indicator, but we were just in the buy mode, right? We just hit the buy mode. So where you go from here, dollar cost averaging, if you think it's going to dip again, you might want to hold off and wait for that next dip. A lot of indicators, again, not financial advice, but this is just what the charts are showing, that we could have one more dip. All right. Now, if you look at this forecast through midforex.com, they're looking at a dip as well. Here we are at 66, and next week going to 64, the month 65, the 3 month 68, and then we start to get this nice climb back up. I really, timetables are really difficult because, things can happen, but this looks really good to me. That we have a couple months, and now we are confirming that we are heading into this bull market, and it's off to the races in just a few months, and we're back headed into the 70s and 80s. So that's kind of my feeling. Here's another chart where you have these moving day averages calculated at charts.bitbo.io. And this one is not currently right up to date, but that says 61. So that's like a few days ago. Okay. Doesn't give me the date exactly. I mean, you can scroll down here and see it. So, but this is before we had the last cross that goes in. But it's a good indicator to show you again that when you're when you get this cross, like let's see, here's one here. So we get this cross. We've got the well, let's go. That's too far ago. Here's a cross here. Okay. So we had a $5,000 Bitcoin. We had a 200-day moving average, and we had the 50-day moving average, and they crossed right there, and it went up. Then as it came down, they crossed again, and you had a dip. Then they crossed again, you had a little up, and it was kind of a sideways, a bunch of fake outs in here. Now, this is something that could happen to us, as we could get these little fake outs. But when you're after a bear market, a good long bear market, usually it doesn't get too hideous. Here's one here, though, that is pretty low. You went down. In fact, I remember this because I actually was able to snag some Bitcoin at like the 3,000 price range, right? I think it was right in here. Let's see what year that was. 2020. Yeah, I think it was more here where I got it. Yeah, it was down in here. This is where I was able to buy it. A little bit, not much. So all of these are great indicators. Here's a Bitcoin moving average chart from bullmania.com. Again, the 50-day moving average is up here on this. This goes back to the 14th. And then we've got, so it's, the price has gone up again, which as the price stays at this level, this moving day average is going to even out. And we're eventually going to be, in the 80,000 range as it evens out and goes down. Okay. This moving day average price is always going to change. Same thing with this 200-day moving average. It doesn't move as quickly though. Okay. So we're going to get that hopefully cross. Well, we're already got the cross back here. I don't know if we can go back. I don't think we can go back, but we need this to just be confirmed. And again, once we get up a little higher in price and get past this 50-day moving average, that's going to help confirm that we're moving into and starting to be in a bull market. So that's all I got for you right now. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'm going to let you go. Goodbye.